Hello, and welcome to Office Hours, where I answer your questions about weight and weight medicine. I'm Dr. Meghan. I'm a board certified physician in internal medicine, lifestyle medicine, and obesity medicine. And this is really important because I actually prescribe these medications all the time. I actually talk to patients about their weight all the time. I've helped hundreds of patients lose weight, and I'm here to help you too. So if you're confused about your weight, if you have questions about weight medicines, and if you want medically based answers to your weight questions, you're in the right place. So office hours for today, and as always, I can't answer personal medical questions. So if your question does lean a little personal, I'm going to change it so it's a little more broadly educationally relevant for us all. All right, so great questions today. Let's get started. First question. I've been on low dose 2 milligram Tirzepatide for 8 weeks and losing consistency, but I recently started getting a hive and itch at the injection site. It happened the last 3 times out of the 8 shots I received so far. Each shot site is at a different location, arms and belly. Is this a allergic reaction? Is that a side effect? The first 5 shots were not a problem. The medication is working well and no other annoying side effects except for the hive and itch in the injection site. Okay. Great question. Comes up for a lot of people. And of course, I'm going to tell you the first thing that anybody who's having this problem needs to do is they do need to see their doctor in person and go over what's happening and make sure that they have a good sense of what the issue is, because I can't give personal medical advice. But you just want to, if somebody emails me about this or messages me on the patient portal, I want to make sure that it's not something else. It's not a dermatitis, that it's not that it's not some sort of other allergic reaction. There's many different things that these can be. So number one, talk to your prescribing physician so you know exactly, so they get a sense of exactly what you mean when these types of reactions are coming up. But oftentimes what can happen is people get these injection site reactions, and they don't usually happen at once. It's usually more of a delayed type of reaction. Your body gets a little bit sensitive over time, and so people give themselves a shot. A day or two later, they get this kind of oval, light pink, or maybe slightly darker marking at the site of the injection, and it's very, very itchy. If you've ruled out all the other things that if I've ruled out all the other things that it can be, it's just one of these annoying but manageable side effects. So oftentimes if I have a patient with these, I will send them some steroid cream to put on it. So depending on how bothersome and itchy it is, I might have somebody just take a Benadryl or a Claritin the day, an hour before their injection, or I might have them take it an hour before and then in another 24 hours and then maybe in another 48 hours. It really depends on how bothersome these are for people. But in general, they're manageable, but they are annoying and they are itchy. I usually like to give a steroid cream and not an ointment, so it kind of soaks into the skin more, because the ointments kind of stick around. They're better vehicles, but they are harder to wear, and it depends on where somebody has the injection site reaction. So that is a great question. Next question: do you ever prescribe a custom dose higher than 15 milligrams every 7 days for Tirzepatide for diabetes or weight loss? That is such a good question too. The answer is no. I don't, because number one, the doses don't come higher than that. Number two, there's enough issues with this medication and people reacting anyway that I don't really want. We don't really know what happens when people take a higher dose for a sustained amount of time. And that's just not a safety risk that I am willing to take for a patient. So if somebody has achieved, 20% or more of their total body weight loss with the medication, and the patient and I still feel like we want their BMI to be lower, that's when I will think about adding other things like, of course, lifestyle interventions and or another oral medication, but I won't give them 2 pens to double up on. I don't think that's safe, and I would definitely want more research before I did anything like that. And I would do the same thing if they were getting, okay, but not like, let's say somebody theoretically got 10% weight loss on tirzepatide. That medication worked the best for them for the injectables, but it still wasn't the 20%. That I would still think about adding an oral medication and, of course, adding lifestyle changes as well. So great question. Thank you so much. All right, next question. Can adults with Down syndrome take these medications for weight loss? Excellent question. Okay, so I don't see why not. People who have Down syndrome are certainly at slightly higher risk of overweight and obesity. And of course, that comes with its own complications. And so, the other thing you do want to be careful of, if I had a patient who had Down syndrome and I'm thinking about treating their obesity, is, with any sort of medical syndrome, there are other things that can come up. So for people with Down syndrome, in terms of relevant issues, some people have, they're born with a structural GI issues that could complicate things in terms of, might place them at higher risk for something like a small bowel obstruction. So if they have something like narrowing in their small bowel to begin with, usually these things are discovered when patients are children. But for many people with Down syndrome, they are at slightly higher risk of these types of structural issues. So I would just really want to be on board talking with their primary care doctor, make sure nothing like that has happened for them. Also, people with Down syndrome are at slightly higher risk of things like thyroid dysfunction. So I'd want to make sure that I'm not missing anything like that, because if you have a low thyroid issue, that can cause extra weight gain as well. So you want to make sure that's treated and optimized. I want to make sure it's treated and optimized before I started somebody on a weight medication, because I don't actually know what their true weight is going to be until they are at a good dose with their thyroid medication, if that's something that's come up for them. Also, people with Down syndrome are at slightly higher risk for things like type 1 diabetes. And again, usually something that will come up during childhood, but again, another good reason to be in communication with their primary care physician. Things like celiac, they're more predisposed to sometimes as well. So all this is to say, is I don't see why not. Overall, a patient who had Down syndrome, I don't see why they couldn't take this medication. They are certainly at higher risk for overweight and obesity, but I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything in the background in terms of other medical issues that they could be predisposed of or had since childhood. So excellent question. Thank you so much. Last question. I've been on semaglutide for weight loss, not a diabetic, for 9 months. Weight loss has been slow but steady. I eat well. The problem is the initial major side effect of fatigue has continued to get worse. It's disabling. Fatigue is supposed to go away over time, but it has not. I'm wondering if tirzepatide might work better for me in terms of fatigue. I don't know what else to try. I do find that fatigue is one of the reasons why people are really kind of not happy with their medication. And again, it oftentimes can go away with time. Many things can contribute to fatigue. So, of course, I would be checking their labs and making sure that there's nothing else going on in terms of, low iron or a thyroid issue or things like that. But of course, if somebody's on this medication and they're eating less, they might not be getting, especially for people who have a very suppressed appetite, that could be contributing to fatigue. If they're very nauseous and they're not able to, they're in an initial period of titrating up, they're not getting a lot of food in or water in. These are all reasons why people need to be monitored, because some people do have pretty severe reactions to these medications. So that can be contributing. Low blood sugar can make people feel not great. Usually it is not an issue for patients on the medication for weight as opposed to diabetes. But I do have some patients that they might want to do like a continuous glucose monitor for a week or two just to make sure that their blood sugar isn't dipping too low. But the likelihood of that contributing is pretty rare for somebody who doesn't have diabetes, their pancreas works normally. But let's say there's no other cause for the fatigue other than the medication. That is, this person is on semaglutide. Yeah, so if somebody's having a lot of fatigue on one of the GLP-1 medications, they could try a different one and have a very different reaction. So I usually will, if I've bumped them down to see if that's helpful, if it's not meeting their weight goals and they're still fatigued, that is a time when I will often then switch them to another medication if we can, because a lot of times people do have a very different reaction to one GLP-1 medication versus another. So we have 3 options. You have Saxenda, Wegovy, and Zepbound. And a lot of times one just works much better for a patient than the other one. So well within the realm of possibility. That's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can leave a comment on this video or on another video, and I will add it to the list. You all have such excellent, thoughtful questions, and it really helps everybody learn more. So thank you so much for sending them in. If you're confused about why you're overeating, if you're confused about why you can't get yourself to exercise, you can definitely schedule a consult with me. I will put that info down below in terms of how to work with me. Consult is free. We go over what the major blind spots are for you. And so whether we decide to work together or not, you're going to walk away with a very clear idea of what the problem is, which is like 50% of the way anyway. So I will put that info down below. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, because it's the place for medically based answers to your weight questions. Thank you so much for watching, and please be well.